months to get your horse ready. So 80% of your positioning is cardiovascular, long, slow distance. You start with 15 minutes, 20 minutes daily, 5 to 6 times a week. Always give your horse 1 day of rest. And that, of course, increases every week in length and intensity. So stamina building is incorporating short, like 5-minute trots in your walk. So you warm up 5-10 minutes, you incorporate a 5-minute trot, you walk for 5 minutes, and if that's enough, if your horse is flaring the nostrils, then warm down and let it be. Listen to your horse. Always have the end goal in mind. The end goal is 1.5 to 2 hours exercising with sprints and canter and long, medium trot intervals. Cantering uphill, for example, they should not be standing there like, oh my God, I'm dying here. They have to recover pretty quickly. So what you do is your little exercises that you do, train with your brain and listen to your horse. Always a little bit more. After a few weeks, build up a canter up a hill, for example. Canter up a hill, walk down the hill. Gallop on the flat for a minute if you can. Then let your horse rest. Build in the intervals once, maximally twice a week. Once your horse is super fit, and interval training is only needed once a week. Okay? So don't be afraid that your horse has to be a super athlete when we're starting our season. When we're starting the season, it's brand new for everybody yet again. We are building our horses during the first part of hunt season too. See, like, every hunt would be your interval training session for the week, because we will do much more than you do at home. Anybody have any questions on the 3 pillars? Stamina, strength, the suppling, circles, serpentines, simple dressage, move off the leg, okay? Imagine that there is a forest full of trees. We have hurt our knees so often because the horse didn't move off the leg. You want to weave your horse in fast speed through those trees. Be prepared for that. And don't let the horse follow. You ride the horse. And this is where the suppling exercises come in. Anybody has any questions so far? Okay. Then recovery. You have to listen to your horse. After your exercises, see how they're breathing. Is she flaring her nostrils? Is she breathing heavily? What's the normal respiratory rate for a horse? 8 to 16, 10 to 20, something around there, okay? Of course, when we're riding, they're always going to be higher, but you have to just see how fast they come down again, because this tells you how the physiology, how the body takes back the oxygen debt that has occurred with exercise. Can they replenish easily? Cool. Move on and go on more intensity, more length. If they don't recover well, step back, give them a day's rest, and go back a little bit where you were last week. Okay? Heart rate. What's the normal heart rate for a horse? 28 to 40. During the hunt, it can easily be, over 100, of course. They shouldn't stay over 100 50 minutes after a trot. So if they're out of breath, just listen to your horse. You all know how to do that. Okay? You get off the horse after each hunt to feel their tendons, their deep distal flexor tendon, the superficial distal arms. And does anybody know how to, or not know how to feel a pulse? So when you feel a pulse, the facial artery is right here. There's a little nick in their mandibular bone, right here. And there's a bundle of vein, artery, and nerve in that bundle. And all you feel with blood pressure is the artery. Okay? You can also feel the digital pulses in your horse right here on the side of the fetlock. Okay? If you feel strong digital pulses down on the feet and one side is worse than the other, ice your horse's feet and then see how that comes down. If that continues, then maybe an abscess coming or something worse. Okay? So, train with the brain and listen to your horse. That's all I have to say.
Remember that different breeds condition, hold condition, and require very different programs. That horse is not going to condition like that horse. Okay? Their breed, their skeletal structure, how much muscle they're carrying, Lance. It's very hard to keep Lance fit because of his size. Okay? That horse is going to condition up real quick and she'll hold her condition much, much easier. The other thing is remember your lateral work. You need to stretch out those ligaments and tendons. You need to keep them supple, that suppling exercises. Okay? When we're going over uneven terrain, your horse is stretching and using ligaments and tendons. You do not use them here. You do not have them used when they're in these level patterns. Okay? And again, when you're riding them, it's a very different thing from when they're playing out in your paddock. Okay? When your body starts to become part of the equation of how they're balancing and using themselves, and when you're holding them in a different posture or frame than they're used to, that's going to challenge ligaments, tendons, and muscles that they're not used to. Okay? So you need to keep those things in mind when you're doing your exercises and conditioning your horse. And again, you need to think about optimal conditioning for the high part of the season, and then they're going to lose condition. Horses are not going to maintain their condition on a level field all the time. Physically, they can't do it. We can't do it, they can't do it. When you're an athlete, you think about when is my most important game going to be? When is my most important event going to be? And you plan your training for that event. Then you're going to start to lose condition a little bit as the year progresses. But you need to think about your peak and your fall of your conditioning exercises, because your horse cannot maintain optimal conditioning 12 months a year. Okay? So we're going to be coming into pre-autumn season. Nobody's horse is going to be in great shape. As the year progresses, you're going to be coming up that slope. Mid-opening day, you want to think about your horse being at its optimal conditioning, and then holding that for a month or so, and then it's going to start to go down. Okay? As a huntsman, I have to have at least 3 horses available. My horses can't hold that condition through the whole season. So I start out on one horse, I get him fit, then as the season progresses, I bring along another horse, start getting him fit. As this horse is losing his conditioning, then I have a 3rd horse that I keep in relatively fit condition in case one of my other 2 need a break. Okay? For the field, obviously that's not a requirement. Okay? But for hunt staff, if you intend to ride twice a week, think about that. That's a lot of miles you're putting on your horses that have to be in good shape, adequate weight, but not fat, and in good health and in good condition. And that's where you talk to your vet. Okay? Your farrier and your vet, if you have a trainer, utilize their knowledge and help plan your season so that your horse can get through your season in good shape by the end of it. Okay? Does anybody have any questions? Yes?
Could you talk about strength versus endurance that's needed?
So it's a little bit of both of it. Okay, I'm not endurance riding, just endurance ride. Okay? When you endurance ride, extended trot, okay? Very little galloping, very little, okay? Fox hunting, little short duration. Our hunts are not long. Our average hunts are usually an hour and a half to 2 miles. On average, we'll go between 8 and 10 to 15 miles. So a lot of that is low. Okay? So, look, a lot of that is canter and gallop. Okay? So your horse has to be conditioned a little differently when you're doing a lot of canter and gallop. You need a lot of the aerobic exercise to expand their lung capacity so they can oxygenate. Okay? When you're doing extended trots or working walks, which is what you mainly do with the endurance, you don't need as high a level of aerobic workout as you would for the fox hunting, because we do a lot more sprinting in the hunt field. The other thing that you have in the hunt field that you don't have with endurance is jumping. Okay? I don't jump a lot because I have to save my horse. I don't know how long I'm going to be out there. Okay? Fox hunting, we don't know how long we're going to be out. We don't know how many miles we're going to do. We can't plan for that. So we need to use our horses as efficiently as possible so that when we get to the end of the day, if I suddenly have a hard run, I've got enough horse to be able to do that. Okay? The field can quit. The field can say, my horse is tired, I'm retiring from the field. Okay? Hunt staff and me, we don't have that luxury. We're out until the last hound is in. Okay? But you as hunt field, you want to think about that too. You don't really know how long we're going to be out. Do you want to have fun out there and jump jumps? Yes, you do. Okay? And you can if you prepared your horse sufficiently. If you haven't done a lot of jumping, you don't want to go in the hunt field and suddenly start throwing it at every coop you see. Okay? That's just not fair. All right? If you think you want to ride in first flight and you think you want to jump, you want to do the jumping, the prep work. And again, remember, we don't have our stridings set. We don't have 3 strides in, 2 strides, okay? You have to gauge your own strides. The ground's going to be uneven. You don't know what's going to be on the other side of it, okay? You've got to be a lot more careful and a lot more thoughtful when you're jumping in the hunt field. And again, that's why I tell you, if your field master doesn't jump it, you do not jump it unless you're given permission to. Any other questions? This was a great day. I thank you all so much. We have lunch that the ladies have really gone to a lot of trouble for, so please go take advantage of that. There's water for the horses. Thank you all so much. If anybody needs some handouts from the day one,
I have them in my truck.
Yeah, Kate has extra copies of that handout that we gave out day one. If you get home, you think of a question, please don't hesitate to contact us. And again, if I ask you to do one thing when you come to the hunt, get there early. Don't be pulling in on 2 wheels, dragging your horse off the trailer, and thinking, it's okay, Jess, you were the exception to that rule. Once.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, sir.
So if in fact our next clinic is August 2nd, and it is a hunt,
It is a mock hunt.
A mock hunt, right. So this time of year we like to start early because of the heat. So right now we're scheduled for 9. Is anyone opposed to starting at 8 that day? Earlier the better.
I could actually come if we started really early potentially.
Okay, so 8 o'clock is okay, that's my question.
Yes.
8 o'clock an issue with anybody?
6 o'clock's okay.
Okay, all right. Yeah,
I
that's
got a 4-year-old.
and we will send an email about a tire, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
so we'll-
basically, so for coming season, pre-autumn season, pardon me, the membership has gray polos, hunt staff have red, breeches of a neutral tone. We don't want We're not barrel racers, guys, sorry. We can't do blame, all right? But, and especially for the clinic people, okay? Polos, breeches, boots, helmets, okay? You're good to go, all right? And I really encourage you to come to that. I also encourage you, if you have the opportunity, we do mounted walks early. So please, we're going to be doing mounted walks through July on Saturday. Please come if you can. Give your horse an opportunity to get out in the territory. You get to meet some more hounds. It's not a hunt, but it's a much better way for your horse to get introduced than the speed and energy that comes out of a hunt day. So please take advantage of that if you at all can. Thank you all so much. And Bob, Robin, thank you so much.
Thank you. And you're going to pick up your lunch. We have a styrofoam container. You'll pick up your lunch and a cookie and a drink and some chips, and you can